just kind of jump off the stat sheet. What did you see as a reason? Was Minnesota doing something that was forcing them, and how do you feel like that impacted the game?
Yeah, I mean, in scoring opportunities, really hard to win a basketball game in that scenario, particularly against a team that can also get hot from three, which they did in the second half. And some of that were mistakes. Some of it was shot making, down the stretch. They made threes. We didn't make threes. I thought we had some good looks. As far as the turnovers, look, they're big, they're long, they're athletic. They pressure the basketball. They make everything tough. We're going to have some turnovers. Sometimes they force you into turnovers, which they did. We had, I think it was 3 shot clock violations. But we also had some unforced turnovers, over-dribbling, trying to draw fouls, dribbling into traffic, trying to do a little bit too much with the basketball. I mean, for us, we generated a lot of really good shots tonight when we didn't turn the ball over.
When did you get wind that Luka wasn't feeling himself, and how did you feel like that impacted him?
He hasn't been feeling well for the last 24 hours. So I don't know how much he slept last night. He didn't feel well last night. His stomach was bothering him. He was vomiting all afternoon. I'm not sure what happened at halftime. I'll find out, but he's really under the weather.
It was tied at 103, I think, with about 4 minutes to go, and they were able to close with that run. Was there something in that timing of the game? Obviously, there's some turnovers, but that you felt like it made the difference in then being able to pull away?
Well, I think Anthony Edwards made a number of really good plays. I think the one that really stands out was, the empty side when he raced the secondary defender. We ended up having to bring a low man, so we had basically 3 guys on him. I believe it was Naz Reid made the 3 from the left wing. Yeah. Then he makes a tough shot, but we're trying our best not to give up off the dribble threes to him in isolation. I mean, that's what he does. He shoots 10 a game, and he's elite off the dribble. So he just makes it hard. He's obviously very aggressive, and I don't want to oversimplify things, but on the road, especially with this crowd, the turnovers and then the sort of ignition that gets for the building and them scoring off that, and us not being able to sort of deflate the energy in the crowd is big.
You mentioned early in the answer, you mentioned that one sequence, but just overall in the game, what did you see from him in terms of how he attacked your guys' defense? I know it was a big talking point coming to the night. It seemed like, at least from my view, he did better just in terms of how he attacked you guys, in terms of patience, playmaking, I guess the total package.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was across the board, and it wasn't just him. We couldn't contain the ball tonight. Our closeouts in the first quarter were god-awful, and I thought we did a better job in the second quarter, and then he just got into the teeth of our defense too much. The fact is we don't have quote unquote rim protection, and so if you give up blow bys, we're gonna give up something. We're gonna give up a 3, or we're gonna give up a shot from him at the rim. So again, he ended up with 29 on 26 shots. I think the playmaking was there again tonight, like it was in game 1. I think some of that, we did make it tough on him at times, but then you had McDaniels just absolutely kill us.
JJ, what did you make of LeBron's performance in the first half? He surpassed his individual game 1 and game 2 scoring output, but just doing everything on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, he's moving better. He seems like he's getting healthier by the day. It's typically a 1 to 2 week injury, and he's I believe it's been 2 weeks tonight, if I'm not mistaken, from the Houston game. So clearly he's moving better.
JJ, how can you guys, you mentioned the lack of rim protection. I mean, McDaniel's been particular, right? Like, seemed to be even more focused on it. I think he said something after game 1. Does that work have to be done on the perimeter? How can you guys be better at the rim, knowing kind of the size limitations that and vertical limitations you guys have?
Yeah, I think it's just we've done it all year. When we've been at our best, we've been able to be physical on the ball and not allow blow-bys, and also have sort of a cover mentality, multiple effort, and it was there at times tonight. It's not to say our guys, I mean, they exerted a lot of effort, they played hard, but the sort of early throw-aheads, the offensive rebounds, I think we had 2 where we collected a rebound, we get back tapped, we give up a point. It's just, again, it's those things really, really accumulate, especially when you're
stretch to be able to face down Luka and LeBron in a game like this and pull it out.
Yeah, I mean, we picked the perfect time to kind of close the game, our best closing effort of the year, no doubt, both sides of the ball. Did a really good job, I thought. Executing and getting good looks. Obviously, Ant was huge. Made some dagger shots, but our defense was pretty much there, and we trusted the pass at the right time, and so it was really a great job. Low turnovers against a ton of physicality. Nas was huge. Everyone was huge. I thought in many ways, Nas showed up just at the right time. We needed him to splash a couple threes, and he did. So.
And then Jaden on just both sides of the ball. Just how do you see him
Yeah,
growing here?
just a monster. I think this is a career high for him. Couldn't come at a better time. In the flow, everything. He was super aggressive. We found him. I thought he and Julius did an excellent job, like setting the tone today. Just being aggressive, playing with a lot of force, and then battling their matchup. Of course, they had the 2 tough matchups out there, and just fighting. LeBron had a heck of a game going, and Julius just kept battling him, and we got him to miss at the right time down the stretch. Fortunately for us.
What did you see specifically from Ant in those last 5 minutes? It seemed like he wasn't predetermining anything, and he was actually reading.
Yeah, it was. I mean, getting to the hoop, like. I think he was going a little bit quicker, on his drives. He was staying with his direction, and then when he was there, he had the rim or the kick out. So I thought he kind of piece by piece it really well, and he kind of knew by that point where the floor was going to be spaced. So.
And what did you like most defensively in those last 5 minutes? Seemed like every game plan thing was on.
We did. We kept flipping some coverages around. And guys did a pretty good job of just not giving in to some of the switching that they were trying to do on some matchups, and then on others they were pretty much trying to execute their coverage. But I just liked our, and then we rebounded well. We haven't always rebounded down the stretch. It's been part of our closing issue.
Chris, the other day at practice, the guys were talking about how you were kind of getting after him after game 2 and with the film sessions and stuff. How did you just find the way that they responded to? I
knew they would respond. It wasn't we've had way more, spirited film sessions than that. It was pretty matter of fact the other day. Like we just left a lot. We didn't make a lot of plays that were right there in front of us to be made. Offensively that was huge. Guys recognized it. They played with a lot more. Physicality, and it bothered us, so we had to match that. So it was really about the concepts, the execution, and the spacing. But we played way too slow. We've got to get out and we got to play a little faster. So.
You said McDaniel's got a lot of his points in the flow.
Yeah.
If that's not happening, do you want to prime the pump there, because it seems like it can be a repeatable offense?
Yeah, and we have, and we are. We've tried to, and there's some of those things that are intentional out there. So, but yeah, I think it's just